What's up, guys? It's Jadon Jones with the MIC Network. Talk about last Friday night's sectional matchup as teams advanced to the sectional championship. With me, as always,
Drew Matchett.
So let's go ahead and get it started with Westfield and Carmel.
Well, Westfield only scored 7 points to Carmel's 28, and this is really, proof in the pudding as to what Carmel's defense has done this season and will do for the rest of it as they advance into the sectional finals.
Yeah, you talked about the Carmel defense. It wasn't just their defense limiting Westfield points. It was the offense showing up as Tyler Trent had 4 total touchdowns, 3 through the air and 1 on the ground. So that led them to 28 points, which was a dominating win over Westfield. They'll move on to the sectional championship. Now let's go ahead and move on. North Central traveled to Hamilton Southeastern to take on the Royals in a matchup that happened earlier in the regular season.
This is something I've wanted North Central to do all season is, advance farther and farther into this end of the year tournament style play. And North Central scoring 41 on HSC and HSC only scoring 12. I think that's a testament to what this team has done, growing as a team this season and, continuing on. I think this will be interesting to see what this team is going to do the rest of this season.
Yeah, I brought up earlier in the season, same matchup, same story. North Central with a dominating win, 41-12 over the Royals, as they'll move on and try to win a sectional championship against Fishers, who took on a MIC Network team, Pike.
Well, I think it was all pretty obvious that Pike has had a horrible season, and Fishers did look like a promising team going into this game, and they did beat Pike 33-20, and so honestly, it's a sad way that Pike won this season, but Fishers, they're moving on.
Another disappointing season for the Red Devils as they're still not able to get many wins and not get that sectional win to get the people talking. Fishers will have another chance to beat a MIC team this Friday night when they take on North Central. Now, let's go on to the school apparently Drew's never heard of. Columbus North took on Center Grove. Yeah,
Columbus North scored a whole 0 points against Center Grove. Center Grove scoring 42 points. Carson Steele was, the backbone to this team on last Friday, scoring 3 touchdowns with 183 rushing yards.
Yeah, you brought up Carson Steele. It's kind of like he's a LeBron James of the team. Whatever he does, the team goes with him. So Carson Steele, 183 rush yards, 3 touchdowns, able to lead the Trojans to a victory over Columbus North. But now let's move on to another matchup that happened earlier in the season, a rivalry matchup between Warren Central and Ben Davis.
The East versus the West. It doesn't get more classic than that. Warren Central did pull away with a win here, 49-28, led by Jaden George. But when it hit about halftime, they were tied up, and that was very concerning that Ben Davis had a lick of just like, oh man, we might have this. And so I thought that was a bit concerning, but Warren Central ended up coming out with the win, so congratulations to them.
Yeah, last season it was Warren who came into Ben Davis and kind of had the undefeated Giants on their heels, but this year it was Ben Davis who had the undefeated Warriors on their heels. But in the end, Jaden George led the Warriors to a 49-28 win as he had 277 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. But let's go ahead and look at the MIC Network Game of the Week as the Lawrence North Wildcats took on their rival, the Lawrence Central Bears.
I like this matchup. It was a fair matchup. It was very close. LN lost 20-28 against LC, and this was basically just a replay of what happened earlier this season. And honestly, I looked into the game wanting LC to win because they've been just horrible this season, quite frankly horrible. And LN probably could have played better. It was horrible conditions out there, but congrats to LC.
Yeah, you talked about the horrible conditions. What was surprising about this game was the Lawrence Central pass offense was the one that led them to the win. As John Lewis in his first playoff start came away with 2 passing touchdowns to lead the Bears over the rival Wildcats into this Friday night. But let's go ahead and look at the sectional championships. First off, Carmel will travel to Lafayette Jefferson to take on the 9-1 Broncos.
With Lafayette Jefferson being 9-1 going into this game, I think Carmel should be a little cautious going into this. They can't go thinking, oh, this isn't a MIC team, we're going to beat them. Carmel does have a very dominant defense, and I think that'll probably win them the game, shutting down a dominant offense. And I think Carmel's just looked like a great team all season. I think they're probably going to beat Lafayette Jeff.
Yeah, you brought up the defense, but Carmel doesn't want to go into this game saying, hey, we know we're going to win this one, because the Broncos aren't a team to overlook. By, say, the last 3 years, these teams have matched up, whether it be the sectional or the sectional championship, even a few times in regionals. But it's always been Carmel coming away with the win. I think that continues this season as the Greyhounds will continue their run to Lucas Oil. And then next up, we talked about Carson Steele earlier. He'll lead the Trojans to battle with the Franklin Central Flashes.
I don't think Center Grove should have any problem smacking the Flashes this Friday. I mean, Franklin Central is Franklin Central. And Center Grove they've had a pretty decent season led by Carson Steele, and I don't think anybody's gonna, well, I don't think Franklin Central is gonna stop Center Grove.
Yeah, you talked about the Flashes. The only way Franklin Central could win this game is, say, if they did have the Flash, but unfortunately, he's a comic book character, not real. So I look for Carson Steele to lead the Trojans to a huge win here. Little fun fact, if you didn't know, both these teams are named after Ray Skillman when it comes to the stadium-wide. So it's kind of like some may say Center Grove's playing a home game, but I look for the Trojans to win the sectional championship and move on to next week when they'll face the winner of a great matchup between Brownsburg and Avon. But then now you go on to a matchup that also happened earlier in the season, North Central and Fishers, when the Panthers dominated that one 31-7.
Fishers did get the win over Pike last Friday, and I don't think they should really recollect on that too long, because I don't think they're going to win this game. North Central has been a great coming up team this season. You know, previous season have been just horrible, and I think this season they've really proved themselves, and they beat Fishers 31-7 in the regular season, and so I don't think North Central should have any problem wiping them off the board here.
Yeah, Fisher shouldn't look at Pike and say, well, we beat that mid team, so we can beat that one. Pike and North Central are definitely not the same teams. North Central, throughout the last few years, has struggled, but this year they want to give their fans something to celebrate. So I'd look for the Panthers to win the sectional title and give North Central something to look forward to.
Yeah, they deserve it. Honestly, they deserve it.
Yeah, and then the winner of that matchup will play the winner of, in our MIC Network Game of the Week, Lawrence Central will travel to Warren Central.
It's going to be a not great matchup. I don't even know how to describe it. A not great. Warren Central is going to blow them out. And earlier this season, at Warren's homecoming, actually, they beat them 47-0. They didn't even score on Warren Central. And honestly, I don't think they'll score this time. LC scraped away with a win over LN, and I don't think there's any chance.
You brought up the matchup earlier in the season. That was when Romeo Elliott ran wild with over 300 rush yards and 6 touchdowns. Now we have seen some fantasy endings with last season in March Madness, the 16 seed beat a 1. Go back to the Hollywood side of things. With Lobo Gym Purple Cobras blew a 3-1 lead to Average Joe's Gymnasium in the dodgeball tournament. But in this matchup, it's not going to be a fairy tale ending for the Bears. If anything, the Bears are going to get slaughtered by the Warriors. So I'd look for Warren to continue their run to Lucas Oil.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any doubt that Warren's going to pull away with a win over Lawrence here.
Yeah, it's not like Warren's playing the actual Chicago Bears led by, it's not like that Lawrence Central defense is picking up Khalil Mack in any certain time. So I think the star-studded trio of Bell, George, and Elliott will lead the Warriors into the regional round.
And I think they're going to go even farther than that.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. They should be the favorite, but that's all we have here. Make sure to tune in Friday night to the MICNetwork.in when Lawrence Central will take on Warren Central. Thank you.